Let's get onto the phone lines and speak to Professor Kwesi Aning. Prof, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Great. So, Prof, we've seen military takeovers in Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Niger, and now Guinea-Bissau. And so that takes me to the question, has the West African sub-region become a fertile ground for the military to be taking over?
Probably we should flip the question around. Has West African democracy failed to deliver public welfare goods, secure its citizens, and to make them feel that the democratic dividend is worth dying for? Or its politics, as usual, in which it is about winning power, hanging on to it, making empty rhetoric, and not delivering the public goods upon which people were voting for. Guinea-Bissau, or probably you ask a wider question about West Africa. All the countries that you mentioned, I think if we added the cases of attempted overthrows over the last 2 to 3 years, the picture is even more disconcerting. So it raises fundamental questions, not only about the region providing a fertile space for this type of violent politics, but also the nature of the politics itself and the extent to which it speaks to people's needs. And I think it's that widening space between what the rhetoric is, the expectation, and the capacity to deliver. That space becomes what you have termed as the fertile ground, which I like very much. Not only for statutory security forces to fail, but increasingly also violent extremists, who, as you mentioned, in the Sahel, are really facing a big challenge to those states. And in northern Togo, parts of La Côte d'Ivoire, now we know in Nigeria, Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa province are running around. So there's a bigger question about the usefulness and practicality of democracy, the nature of leadership, issues around corruption, livability, transparency that we need as West Africans to start talking about.
Okay.
This is not going to end. This may not be the last winter.
Now, talking about, asking the question whether we have actually failed the people. And I remember having a conversation with the commissioner in charge of political affairs at ECOWAS about a year or two ago. And he talked about how he believed at the time that the democracy we're practicing, particularly our leaders, were not living to the expectation of the people. Now, the best form of a counterinsurgency will be to know what the people want and giving it to the people. So if this comes from ECOWAS, what is preventing us from doing the things that the people want? What's the challenge?
Well, I think it's fantastic that Dr. Musa that you've just quoted, that is the Dr. Musa that I've known for the past 40 years or 45 years. Sharp, incisive, and having a knack for understanding what we need to do. So if we take the ECOWAS project once more, and we take all the conventions, the protocols, and the values, and the norms, and the objectives located in these protocols, once more we see a huge gap in which we only have a very platitudinal approach to them. We will say the things, we will march past and fly past, but we don't mean what we say. The end result is that people don't trust their leaders, that things that citizens need are not what the political classes are delivering. So if we deliver a little hospital, a little school, 1 kilometer of road that will tear up when the rainy season comes, the fanfare around presenting these developmental interventions probably costs as much as that developmental intervention itself. I was in Guinea-Bissau about 8 weeks ago.
Okay.
This is a country that is decaying from the middle and is waiting to implode. I don't think this coup d'etat represents the reality of the traumatic state in which Guinea-Bissau is.
Really?
It is a nation that is surviving on a day-to-day basis purely by the grace of some omnipotent person. I normally would not speak this way. Look, the airport is the most disastrous building I've seen masquerading as an airport in my last 50 years of traveling. When I was there, this was an ECOWAS meeting discussing ECOWAS, was it in 2050 or 2060 or something? Fantastic meeting. The ECOWAS representative was there. Nice speech. But when we got to the brass tacks, the people in Guinea-Bissau told us point blank that the legislature had not been sitting since December 2023, when the president found some dubious means to suspend it. ECOWAS troops are there providing protocol services and ensuring a certain element of stability. But our Guinea-Bissau friends also told us that Embalo's approach to the elections that were held last month would lead to what has happened.
Okay.
Question: did ECOWAS misread the early warning signals? And what is the role of the ECOWAS group right now, the soldiers and the diplomats? Because their remit was to protect democracy. And, I mean, General Nkahana has made it clear that he doesn't intend to hand over power. So what can Ghana do?
Exactly. Tell me, what can Ghana do?
Well, probably we are the strongest democracy on the sub-region now. The most functional. I think we have the diplomats with extensive international experience in managing sensitive crises. We need, I don't know, I hope we have an emergency response plan that allows us to support countries that are in dire state, like Guinea-Bissau. And as a friend of mine just wrote this morning, that we should demonstrate that knowledge, leadership, humility, but I'll argue an agile approach to an evolving crisis. So what are the possible options, or what does this tell us? I think ECOWAS as a lead institution for resolving the Guinea-Bissau crisis is a no-no. Because it has failed to achieve its primary aim. So there are 2 or 3 possible things that might happen.
Okay.
First is that the military might try to entrench themselves. I'm sure within the next month or two, they will come with a 5-year redemocratization plan. But the coup d'etat shows us the fragility of the relationship between the military and the political elite. But we may also see a period of considerably deepening instability, which will be very dangerous for the sovereign regime. So, for the future, there are a couple of options that we can look at. If Ghana decides, together with Senegal, to play the leadership role, one is to consider what our responses will be were the military to attempt to consolidate its role. The second is if the military started a process of a negotiated transition with the civilians. But the third option is what I think we should be looking at.
Okay.
Deepening internal fracture and instability. Because my final point, the rationale for the coup was that politicians and narcotics kingpin wanted to marginalize the results. We know that Guinea-Bissau is the northern hub for the cocaine, tramadol, methamphetamine, and heroin trade in West Africa. So the possible ramifications of this coup can go way beyond the borders of this country.
Professor Kwesi Aning, I know you have other engagements. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're grateful.
Thank you very much.